Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the spot where the conversations are pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Did you bring your thinking caps? Because it's time to put them on. Because the conversation starts now. Spring in the air and everybody's doing their thing. And we're doing our thing right here on the Edge Brains, the location, the place, the spot is hot, where the conversation is pointed and the guests are sharp and the responses are never dull. Today is no different than any other day. We've got Janet.wiszowaty, all the way from Canada. You know, she is a student of Jack Canfield, so you know that she knows her stuff, okay? There's a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of manifestation that goes into that mindset mastery. She's also the author of an amazing book. We're going to talk about that. And we are going to talk about her being a former radio host. What did that look like back in the day? I don't know if it was when you would turn the dials or what it was, but radio is not what it is, what it was once. So let's welcome her to the show. How are you, Janet?
I'm good. And as for it was an internet radio host.
Okay.
I had a producer and all that, and I had so much fun doing it. So
well, you know, there's a lot of shakeup. I just looked at the news and on the internet this morning, and a lot of these newscasters are getting the can. It used to be where they would report the news. I was telling that to Mr. Magnificent. Now it's all this snarkiness. You're calling people names. You're telling lies. You are manipulating. You're sensationalizing. That's not the day of you and I. You know, we're women of particular age. You know, we had the Barbara Walters and the Walter Cronkites and the original Oprah. You know, people that would really come and give commentary. What was your show about?
my show, I called it Worldly Connections, which is now my business name, because you know what? I was curious. I'm always curious. And
Mm-hmm.
I'd see somebody or read something and think, I want them on my show. And so I had people from all over the world. I had a girl I trained with from Abu Dhabi. No, she was in Dubai, and she was on my show. I talked to read an article by this psychologist. He wrote a thing called Letter to My Daughter. So I sent him a message. I says, hey, can I have you on my show? I love your, and so he came. I met somebody that did cryptocurrency. I'd never heard of cryptocurrency. I said, you want to come on my show? You know what? It's curiosity. We're all curious, I think, right? And I think that as long as we keep that curiosity, and there's no choosing one topic. I am, like, somebody asked me one time, if I opened your brain, what would I find? And I'd said fireworks, because each idea is a different color.
Wow, absolutely. That's brilliant. That's beautiful. And you know, that's the same thing that Einstein says, you know, without imagination, you know, and it only is sparked by curiosity and asking the questions. Scientists today still ask the question.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to be open to whatever that answer leads us to. But again, there's, you know, manipulation and all that kind of other crazy stuff. So tell people, how do you show up in the world?
Well,
Besides being curious.
do you know what I love? I was in the Royal Canadian Mounted Police as an emergency dispatcher and a spouse of an officer for 40 years. And so it's always asking questions, again, being curious, but also serving, just being there, because we all are somebody for somebody. And we don't know where we'll show up or who we're going to meet. And it's just to be, right? To show up and to be of service wherever we can. And I'm lost sometimes, most of the time, like some people. And it's like, oh my God, what am I doing here? What am I doing? But you know what? Every day to show up, wake up and think, how can I serve? Like, what can I do today that'll help somebody? whether it's buying them a coffee in the, in the line behind me at Tim Hortons. And
Oh, my
you know what?
friends. Yes, I do. Brains, if you don't know, that's Canada's Dunkin' Donuts or Krispy Kreme. Okay. It's the best donuts and hot chocolate on the planet. Yes, they do.
Yeah. So, it's just wherever I can show up and be somebody for somebody.
Well, you are somebody, and you were somebody for, I'm sure, thousands and thousands of people as a dispatcher. Um, I have family that's in law enforcement, and that is a tough job. You need to be clear. You need to be patient. You need to be able to deliver information. You need to be a good orator, communicator, because not only are you taking the call from the individual on the other line, but you are sending the peace officer there. Here in the United States, we have a bad reputation for our police officers turning against the citizens and firing and killing them. Let me ask you, I'm not sure, in Canada, are you allowed to own weapons as individual citizens?
We're not as open as the United States. Now, I don't know all the laws, but the majority of people that I know don't own firearms. We don't
Mhm.
carry firearms. And I'll equate myself to like Texas.
Oh,
I
God.
know police officers and different people throughout the states that we were in contact with, because my husband was a Blue Knight, which was a law enforcement motorcycle club, and the Americans, they always carried guns, no matter we're on duty
Yeah,
or off,
in Texas,
and
in
we
Texas,
don't.
they have open carry, and what that means is you can have a gun right there on your dashboard in your car, and I just don't get it. I was looking at statistics. There's about 100,000 more guns than there are citizens. The police officers do carry weapons, though, correct?
Definitely they do, and they, you know, uh, probably not as well as some of the criminals, their equipment. But I'll tell you right now that it's not a gun that kills; it's the people that carry it and their attitude. And more often, all the regulations that you can have in the world isn't going to stop somebody from stealing a weapon or acquiring a weapon if they
Right.
want one.
And you know what? My thing is, I got the complete answer to gun control. Stop making bullets.
Hmm.
Supply and demand.
Hmm.
Um, I own a weapon, but it is, safe. I go to the range. I would hate to have to use that. I don't know if I could live with myself, even in a
Hmm.
defense situation.
Hmm.
So when you are on the other end of the dispatch phone, what goes through your mind? Because there's a lot of personal um, emotion that sometimes you have to, well, a lot of times you have to extract that because you've got to give clear instructions. But do you take that home with you? Have you ever had that where it's embedded in your psyche, where it's just really been rough to get over a day's work?
Yes, and um, a lot of it is subconscious. Like, you don't realize, like, um, when we take an emergency call, we we can't be involved in that call, so we can push a lot of it down. And um, I joined the force in 1982, and in 2003 I was diagnosed with PTSD.
Mm.
And the what was coming up, and I had a dark night. Anybody that has had a trauma has a dark night, and it's different for everybody. You can't say, oh well, I've been there. Well, you have been there, but not, somebody will say, oh, it's not as bad as you. No, if it's you, it's you, it's yours. Own it. And unfortunately, I was aware enough to know I needed help, and I got help. But the things that came up were things from the 80s, from the 90s,
Oh, wow.
because you know what? Do our job if we're sympathizing with that person. And people, when they call, they think we're cold hearted. The thing is if I cry with you, I'm not getting you help.
Right.
And so what we do is push that down. And after a while, you don't even know that. So when I went through my that time, I didn't know. I was not aware that I wasn't laughing anymore, that I wasn't having fun anymore. And it took a different trauma to set me on that path of healing. So, you know what? I'm here for all of the anything I do is with that awareness that we've all been there, we've all had that, and let's move forward from it. And we all need help moving forward. We can't do it alone. Honestly,
Well,
I could never have done it alone.
I see your mantra on the wall behind you. Love is the goal, life is the journey. And that's absolutely true.
Mhm,
And it
mhm,
starts with self-love and self-awareness. And you
mhm.
realize that there's a lot of people, you know, I have this thing that I would really love to put forth in legislation to only give police officers 10 hours, I mean 10 years in the field. Then take them out, let them rotate. There's a lot on there. When you call the peace officer, there's a problem. You're not calling them over for Tim Hortons donuts and coffee. It's always
Yeah.
something. But there is a lot of good that is done as well. We don't always want to talk about doom and gloom. I mean, again, these people sacrifice their life. They put their life on their line to protect others. They go into harm's way. They do great things for the community. Some children see the police officer and their whole life they want to be of service. So thank you and your spouse for all that you've done. But you said, you know what? I want more. So you joined a group and you started taking classes with Jack Canfield. Tell me how that all came about.
Well, it was after I had gone through that period of time and I sought help, and the psychologist I had was amazing. She was wonderful, and I found that after working with her, I really needed to keep moving forward because there's a gap there. Like when we get rid of something in our life, we get rid of a pain. We've lived with that for so long. So who are we after that?
Right.
We're not that same person. But it's like anything else, when something's empty, when there's a void, something has to fill it. And so I didn't want to go back to that dark place. And lots of people do go back to that dark place because that's all they know. That's their comfort spot. And so I started just taking courses like personal development and stuff. And one day this thing came on, and this is dial up way back in the day. And this ad for Jack Canfield going to do a 1 day event in Seattle. And I have a cousin in Seattle. So I said, my husband, I'm going to go visit my cousin and I'm going to go to Jack Canfield's 1 day event. That was 2010. And that was the start of this journey working with Jack and doing other training just because Jack gives so much hope. We had in one of our trainings, I think it was 2012 at his Breakthrough to Success. It was the last one that he did was 10 days. And on day 6, there was a man, there's about 400 people. There was a man standing on the chair in the back of the room and yelling, Jack. He wanted to talk to Jack. And Jack just said, what? And he says, I want to tell you, I can't be here tomorrow, but I was in Desert Storm. And today, this week has helped me more than anything else. Thank you.
Mhm.
So he teaches us to go to look at everything. His book, the Success Principles, going from where you are to where you want to be, all those principles just give you that little bit of a thinking and an edge and practice them. And that just helps you move forward because it fills that void with something positive
Right.
to moving forward. So I'll be forever grateful because it started me on quite the journey. And I've done more and more training. It's just in my genes now, I think.
Yeah. I know what it is about filling a void. I know when my mother passed away, I would wake up that first week and I didn't know what to do. I was on a time schedule. Get up, make sure she was okay, got her dressed, got her breakfast, gave her medication, gave her some exercise, gave her lunch, da 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 da. And then when she passed, I got up and I was for that week, I was that mechanical animal. I kept doing the same thing, but there was no one there to serve. So what I had to do was reframe it. I had to say, okay, what am I going to fill this void with? And that's where I really heightened my sense of awareness and I gave myself more love. Oh, okay, instead of feeding her, I'm going to feed me. Instead of, getting her medication, I'm going to go do some exercise so I don't need medication. So it's different things that you put in place, but it all starts with being conscious. A lot of times in courses, They teach you mindset. But I'm doing some work with some individuals that it's beyond that. It's about being conscious. It's about being aware. It's about being in the moment, being present, being grateful. You know, you can't take things for granted. Not the next breath. It is not promised to you. What are some things that you're grateful for?
Oh, do you know what? I am so grateful to my husband because he was always supportive. I met him. We were married just before my 19th birthday. I'd known him 6 months, and we'll be celebrating our 51 anniversary this
Congratulations.
year. And but he's, no matter what crazy idea I come up with, he supports it, and he'll say you're crazy, but okay. When I wrote this book, The Year the World Paused, I'm so challenged with technology and I lose things. In fact, today I lost all my emails, so I don't know what I did with them. But I sent everything, as my authors would send in their stories and that, I'd send them to him. He's got all my files, and but he's always been there. And I'm not saying that 100% perfect in any way. Marriages go up and down, but you support each other, and that's where we've been. And reframing what you said about you had to reframe, we all need to look at reframing, because reframing changes everything. And you talk, when you say about when your mom went and reframing how you did, do you know what? We all need a mission. And when our mission is incomplete or when it's gone, and that's why our military, our police officers, our first responders, and all of us caregivers and that, we've had a mission. And when our mission is gone or done, if we don't find another mission, there's so many of us are lost.
Right. You know, and that is why journaling is so important. That is why
Very
being
much.
conscious of your surroundings. Who else might need your help? How can it get any better than this? What else is possible? Being curious, asking the question. You know, life is a journey. It is
Totally.
not, it's not a matter of fact, this is what's going to happen. You know, we can put that into place, but somebody can throw a monkey wrench, or life can throw a monkey wrench, and then you've got to deal with the hand that you were dealt. So you did that.
And you can change that. You can change that. Okay, why did this happen? Like, what is the next step? Like,
What am I supposed to be learning?
right. And like, it was a serious car accident I was in prior to me being diagnosed. But I look back at that car accident, it literally saved my life. There were three things that happened that they found were wrong with me, or that could have been life threatening if it hadn't been found. So when we look at it, which direction? When I had that dark night, I said it was like God giving me a 2x4. He gave me like little taps. It's time to change something, and I didn't. So he gave me a 2x4 and made me sit in my what until I got it. So when we can look at things, you know what? Give yourself a timeout. Give yourself time to grieve. We all have to grieve. Whatever goes out of our life, it's a grief. I don't care whether you change jobs, whether you come back from military service, no matter what. There's a grieving period for everything that
Absolutely.
you were part of.
Absolutely. And you know what? Grieving is a lesson. You are supposed to sit with it. You have to marinate in it, as I say, like a good filet mignon, because it's tough. And so you have to go, you have to sit through it, you have to learn the lesson, or you're going to repeat it. You're going to repeat it, and it may not work out in your favor. Or, as I've shared many times, my mentor, I've gotten in a situation to where I said, damn it, here I go again. And she goes, you know what? A couple things have happened here, April. You didn't learn the lesson the first time, or you didn't apply the lesson, or you've already set an expectation. You don't know what's going to happen. So if you go back and revisit those three things, you're going to have a different outcome. And by golly, I had a different outcome, and it was much better. Talk about the book. Tell me a little bit about the book. Show my brains the book and what's inside of it, and what was the inspiration.
Oh, do you know what? This book wanted to be written.
Wait a minute, where's mine at? You sent me one. Janet, look, I have my copy. The Year the World Paused, Stories of Inspiration and Transformation. She sent me this, Brains, and I have not had a chance to go through it, but I am going to be broadcasting live from on the Royal Caribbean, and you best believe that this is going to be in my book bag, because I always love a good read, just to sit there and maybe get transformed. Share with my brains what's inside the pages of this amazing manuscript.
Do you know what? The book in November 2020, I was thinking, we hearing all kinds of stories about people in COVID and what they went through and that. And my life was totally different in 2020 than a lot of what I was hearing. I was contracted with the RCMP and Royal Canadian Mounted Police up in the Arctic, in the Eastern Arctic of Nunavut, in Iqaluit. And so I traveled between there and the Yukon and did relief dispatching. And so in November 2020, I was in Whitehorse in the Yukon, and I woke up with this title in my head, The Year the World Paused. And I thought, yeah, the world paused. 2020, the world really paused. And I think the world needed to pause. I think that we needed a good shakeup to say, like, let's a lot of things and stuff. And as long as, as we talk, there's tragedy in anything, and in transforming and stuff, there's loss and there's growth. And so I was in a virtual group, and I said, hey, I'm gonna put this book together. Who wants to be in it? And I want to know where you were when all of this started to happen with COVID, what you went through, and how you came out the other end. Like, what was your growth in it? And so the long story short, there's 19 other authors than myself, and we write our stories. They're from all over the world. I have one from Ghana, 3 in the UK. I have one's in, she's in Alaska, and then the others are the rest of the United States and Canada. And we all share our stories. They're all different. They're all different. It's just what happened to us in 2020 and how our growth came. And I think that the biggest growth that came out of all of this is how we could still communicate virtually, how we built our community virtually. Yeah. And these women, and there's several men in the book as well, we would not have come together if ever met, probably, if COVID hadn't happened, or if we hadn't started doing more virtual work. And so what I liked about it is the stories are all different. I have my friend in Ghana, when she wrote her, I kept saying, I need your chapter. And she said, oh, it's not very good. I said, just send it to me. Let me make the decision. And my husband and I are reading her chapter, and we're laughing, and we sent back, I says, I love your chapter. I love how it starts. And so Catherine Enman, so you have to make sure that you read that one. But they're all different.
Well,
that's what I like about it.
And we're all different, and we're all individuals. And learning to appreciate that, value that, respect that, have a conversation about that is key. God didn't make all the flowers in the garden look the same. All the birds in the sky are not the same. Not every pebble on the beach is the same. We are all unique. And so I commend you for taking that time to step back, relax, and bring people together to create a vision. And I'm sure through reading this, they were as much transformed as you were. This was, you birthed the baby. You were saying that you went to Jack Canfield, and you were just telling me in the green room, you went to one of the events, and it was called Come As You'll
Be. So who you're going to be in 5 years.
Yeah. That's amazing. I think I'm going to throw a party like that, and it's really great because it helps you bring forth what your heart's desire is, what has been suppressed. It gives you options. It gives you choices. Thank you so much, Janet, for being here with me on the edge. You are an amazing gift to the world. Again, like I said, I can't thank you and your husband enough for your dedication and your service to others, and also being conscious and being aware of who you are and your needs, and fulfilling those needs to make you feel better, flowing over into the world to make it a better place. Janet, you and your husband do something very fun. You're a house sitter.
We are.
Now that's the
People
hookup.
people say to me, says, "Wow, you got a great retirement." And I say, we created this. We created what we wanted to do when you've got a limited income, and we love to travel. So now we house sit all over the world. Look out! I always say we live in beautiful homes all over the world and don't pay for them, but we
Wow.
meet the most amazing people, and I can do my workshops or anything online. Right? That's the day and age of our technology now. So no matter where I go,
And
I can.
you have come with great credentials because your husband and yourself have both been in law enforcement. So who better to keep in your house or watch your house for you is a house sitter. So tell me a couple of your most favorite places that you've been able to stay.
Oh, we just came back. We just house sat for a month in Scotland,
Oh my God.
and we absolutely loved it and made some friends. And she's asked us to come back. We look after her little dog called Petra, and we just enjoy it so much. This time last year, we were in France. We're on a horse farm. We looked after 22 horses, four
Oh my
pigs, two
goodness.
goats, 7 chickens, 5 barn cats, 2 house cats, and a dog. And we met the most amazing people. And that's part of it. Like, we don't want to be just tourists and go on tours and stuff. We want to be part of a
Want to
community, and
immerse yourself, right?
totally. And we are totally blessed with the people we meet along the way.
So how do you get involved in that? Is there like a list? Do is it like I don't know.
Yeah.
What is it?
We I'll send you a link actually to we belong to two groups. We have profiles on them on the internet. One is housecarers.com, and the other one is trustedhousesitters.com. And we have a profile up there, and we can go in. We pay a fee for the profile, and we can go in and look to see where we want to go. So we've house sat in Spain, and in France, and all over Canada, and in several places in the United States as well. I love Denver. I love Denver.
You like Colorado?
Yes.
The altitude makes me a little dizzy, but I like it too.
But then I'm close to the mountains here, right? We're close to the
Absolutely.
Rockies here.
So
So
what are like some of your responsibilities? What do you do when you house sit? Do
well,
you have to
we
clean?
look
Well, of
after
course you clean up after your own mess, of course, but
their house looks better than mine. I'll make sure their house is always better than mine. And we look after the animals, and we have always loved animals, and we chose not to have them in retirement, but this gives us our fix. We can love other people's animals like we love our own. We look after their animals. We look after like anything in their house. Like my husband, will check where's their shutoffs and all that, so that they don't have to worry about anything. We give them peace of mind when we look after their place and their pets.
well, that's beautiful. That sounds like so much fun.
One of these days I'll be down there and I'll come and
Well,
see
come
you.
on to San Diego because it's America's finest city.
Hey, do you know what? I have so many friends in San Diego. Part of my law enforcement and military friends are down there. So
Come
we'll
on
be
in.
coming down there. I'm hoping next year.
All right. Janet, you are such an amazing gift. How can we get a copy of the book and get in contact with you?
Well, the book is on Amazon. It's on ebook. It's in the library, some libraries on Hoopla. And it's, yeah, you can get it in audio, ebook, or paperback, Amazon. And you can reach me through Facebook, Janet.wiszowaty, or through LinkedIn. Just, I believe you've got a piece that I sent you about my my book, so that you can put
Absolutely.
it in your comments and stuff. So
Absolutely.
you know what, I'm here for anybody. If you're anything, uh here to help you move forward.
Well, you know what? And now stay stuck, brains. That's not what we do here on the edge. We are progressive. Sometimes we have to stall. Sometimes we have to move back. Sometimes you got to move to the left. Sometimes you got to move to the right. But don't stay stuck. Okay? Thank you so much. Go in, like, love, share, and subscribe. I always say please. like, love, share, and subscribe to On the Edge and Janet.wiszowaty. We'll appreciate it. Leave a comment. We don't know what we don't know, and whatever we can do to make your life easier, better, and your life a journey with love, that's what we're here for. Thanks, Janet.
Thanks, April. Take
All right.
care.
Bye, brains.